Like, he puts pressure on guys without throwing too many punches, and then he starts to figure holes out, and the way he can explode and move in with one shot, my God.
Yeah, he very explosive. He's very explosive, and
Shakur sees that. He's anticipating something to come. He knows he's going to explode in. So what does Shakur do? Teo takes a big step in. Shakur takes a big step back. You know, again, always understanding because he has great eyes. You know, great eyes, understands boxing very well and movements.
Joe Rogan couldn't hide his amazement when he saw Shakur Stevenson's physique ahead of the Teofimo Lopez Showdown. What struck him most wasn't just the conditioning. It was how Stevenson's unique defensive style combines with raw athleticism. Rogan called it truly remarkable, noting that Shakur's incredible shape translates directly into ring performance. Enhanced agility, explosive power, and the kind of physical presence that makes him stand out among boxing's elite.
Best Philly shell since Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
His defense was incredible.
Yeah, defense, and he stayed. And that guy was putting the guy from Golden Boy. I can't remember his name, who he fought, but was just a good fighter and was really pressuring him. And Shakur stayed in the pocket.
Yeah.
He stayed in the
He
pocket.
also
Because
said he's
people were
not going
calling
to
him
fight
a
that
runner
way
before.
anymore.
He's not a runner, yeah.
But he said after that fight, I'm not going to fight that way anymore. He said I took too many shots.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he wanted to like put on a show
Yeah.
and show everybody he's not just a runner. He could stand in the pocket.
Right.
Then he's like, why am I doing this? I'll box the shit out of these motherfuckers.
Yeah. I mean, he's a
Which I
silver
get,
medalist,
too.
that guy.
Yeah. Oh, he's
Yeah.
elite. He's elite.
Yeah.
And just one of the best, like, it's, as far as skill.
Inside Shakur Stevenson's training camp, there's no room for shortcuts. Every single session is meticulously designed with one goal in mind: perfection. His team focuses relentlessly on defense, speed, and technical refinement. They emphasize precision in every movement, conditioning that pushes boundaries, and strategic preparation for any scenario the ring might present. But it goes deeper than physical readiness. Stevenson's mental fortitude sets him apart, making him not just a formidable opponent, but a complete professional in every aspect of the sport. Tim Bradley's breakdown of this fight reveals a fascinating clash of styles. Lopez brings explosive, twitchy movements that generate devastating power. Watch closely and you'll notice something. There's always a subtle pause before he strikes, that split second where he loads up before unleashing sudden, violent intensity. It's reminiscent of Roy Jones Jr.'s ability to close distance with blinding speed and precision. But Stevenson? He's a master at controlling distance. He positions himself perfectly, limiting his opponent's movement and dictating the fight's tempo. Bradley makes it clear: footwork would decide this battle. Stevenson can neutralize Lopez's explosiveness by keeping him off balance and reading his attacks before they happen. This is agility versus raw power. Defensive brilliance against natural speed and explosive offense. That's what makes this matchup so compelling.
It's the feet. The feet is what gets you in position to be able to land those shots. You know, footwork is extremely important. When I look at both these guys, and I look at Shakur's footwork, I look at Teo's footwork, and what I noticed about Teo's footwork in particular is that in order to be able to throw with the amount of power that he has, you know, I've noticed with Teo, there's always a subtle pause before he actually explodes. And Teo's a guy that likes to explode into contact, like to explode into his opponents, man, to land his offense. You know, fast, you know, twitchy type muscles, you know, fibers, you know, he's extremely fast. You know, some may say that, you know, his twitchiness kind of reminds him of like Roy Jones' type of, you know, movements, how quick he's able to close that distance on his opposition. However, he's in there with a guy that is a master at controlling distance. That's like he's a master at literally, you know, getting in his position, right, in a position where he wants to be and taking away your positioning. And with doing so, he takes away your feet, and that's why I think feet are going to be extremely important in this. If you can keep your opponent off balance, for instance, let me just give you an example. It's like Teo explodes. There's a subtlety before he explodes with his offense. And as soon as Shakur sees that, he's anticipating something to come. He knows he's going to explode in. So what does Shakur do? Teo takes a big step in. Shakur takes a big step back. Again, always understanding because he has great...
Ryan Garcia doesn't hesitate with his prediction. Shakur Stevenson will emerge victorious. His reasoning is solid. Stevenson possesses a rare combination of speed, defensive mastery, and ring intelligence that creates serious problems for any opponent. Garcia highlights Stevenson's ability to adapt mid-fight and maintain composure under intense pressure as game-changing advantages, even against someone as dangerous as Teofimo Lopez. According to Garcia, it's the complete package that sets Shakur apart: agility that frustrates, precision that punishes, and strategic thinking that stays 2 steps ahead. If Stevenson executes his game plan effectively, Garcia believes victory isn't just possible, it's probable.
We need some real boxing guys in this thing.
Yo, who you got, Shakur or Teo?
I got Shakur Stevenson beat him.
You got Shakur? You don't think Teo's gonna win?
Nah, bro. Nah,
Damn, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I got
crazy.
Teo too, bro.
You guys got Teo? How much you guys want to bet, bro?
I got Teo.
How much you guys want to bet anytime?
Bet, bro. I don't got money compared to you.
Nah, I'll bet. Hey, I'll bet in your tax bracket, bro.
100. Let's do 100.
I'll bet 100, bro. Let's
bet 100.
Not everyone is convinced by Shakur Stevenson's hype as he prepares to face Teofimo Lopez. Critics are questioning whether his resume truly backs up his reputation. When compared to fighters like Gervonta Tank Davis, who bring size, speed, and knockout power against elite competition, some argue Stevenson's resume looks thin. His previous opponents, like Zapita, haven't been considered top-tier challenges, and victories over them don't carry the same weight. Stevenson's approach emphasizes defense and distance control, but there's concern. Against a powerful, lightning-fast fighter like Lopez, simply avoiding engagement might not be enough. Some suggest Stevenson will try to maintain space and run rather than push the action, turning the fight into a test of endurance and timing instead of decisive offense. Make no mistake, Stevenson's skills and defensive mastery are exceptional, but this matchup will reveal whether his style can withstand Lopez's explosiveness and raw power. The outcome is far from certain, but the intrigue, it's off the charts.
Like hoisting up Shakur Stevenson, his resume is not really that deep if we're really being fair. And I would challenge y'all to compare it to Gervonta Tank Davis's resume and then really look at who they were, look at Tank's frame, look at Shakur's frame, and tell me what looks to be more special. But here you got Shakur being hoisted up and praised nonstop, but then a lot of the same analysts, when they talk about Tank, they're like, oh, man, Tank's disappointing and Tank needs to fight someone and his resume is not that good. Who on Shakur's resume is just this world beater? People always talk about, oh, Tank don't have Hall of Famers and don't have good fighters. Ryan Garcia is a dangerous fight. He has one of the best left hooks in the game. He was undefeated. Undefeated fighters could be stubborn, and he's definitely bigger than Tank. Even Shakur, he would probably be bigger than Shakur, but it would at least be closer. So for me, it is more impressive seeing the smaller guy like Tank produce that type of punch and power and being there with the giants and guys like Frank Martin. To me, I would rather have seen Shakur, Frank Martin, like they were supposed to fight, but it fell apart over money, than the fight with Zapata. Especially, like I said, Zapata coming off 2 performances where he arguably lost both, if not one of them, and was exposed and dropped in the fight. Teofimo, I think that's a good name for Shakur Stevenson, but the fight hasn't happened yet. So we have to see what it is. But all this talk about Zapata being, who is that good? Robinson Conceição really should have lost to Oshaki Foster. They rematched, and then he did lose. he's cool. And he lost to Valdez before Shakur fought him, and Shakur missed weight.
What drives Shakur Stevenson? It's simple. He refuses to settle for easy fights. Stevenson actively seeks opponents who will push him to his absolute limits. Fighters who challenge him physically and mentally. For him, every match is an opportunity to sharpen his craft, study different styles, and test his ability to adapt under pressure. His competitive fire fuels relentless discipline in training and unwavering focus on strategy. He enters the ring prepared for anything, but success in Stevenson's mind isn't measured solely by victories in the win column. It's about proving he can rise to any challenge and evolve as a fighter. This constant pursuit of tough competition keeps him growing, making each fight another step toward becoming stronger, smarter, and more complete as an athlete.
I think I'm going to capitalize off those mistakes.
But, bro, what is it about you that has you, looking at a fighter that you know is the truth and then saying, I want to fight him? It seems like it should be normal if you're a fighter, right? But that stuff is dying off in the game right now. And I feel like you one of the last of the dying breed that actually want real challenges.
Yeah, I'm competitive, bro. So it's like I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Tio his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy, like he like doing things with his hands down, flashy. And I thought it was cool, so it kind of made me want to get in a ring with him and see if he could do them things against my style.
Your last fight was against William Zepeda in July, and you fought a totally different way. It wasn't the easiest way or the best way to fight, but I think it was good for you and your development because it not only sent a message to the rest of the division, one up, your division at that time, and then the one above you, but it sent a message to the fans. But I think it also did something for you to prove to yourself that, man, listen, that wasn't like my best performance, but I showed you I can get it out the mud. What did that performance kind of do for you now that you look back at it?
Honestly, I think like styles-wise, I think that Zepeda's style is the style that's supposed to give me the most trouble. Like guys that box and give me time to think is the guys that's gonna have a fit with me all night. But the guys who press me and put me against some ropes and throw a million punches, that's the style that's supposed to give me trouble. So I went out there and I prevailed against that style, and now I'm fighting against a boxer, which for me it just makes it more fun. I don't have to deal with a guy that's trying to like wear me down so much.
Right.
So now I got to play chess. I got to do what I do best, play chess. So.
Accountability defines Shakur Stevenson's approach to boxing. He treats every training session and every fight with discipline and responsibility, fully aware that his choices directly impact the outcome. But Teofimo Lopez presents a different kind of test altogether. Lopez's speed is a genuine threat, the kind that can disrupt even the most calculated defensive strategies. Stevenson cannot afford to underestimate him or approach this fight casually. Every punch Lopez throws, every feint, every movement demands complete attention and instant adjustment. While Shakur's defensive instincts are world-class, speed creates openings that even the best-laid plans might miss. Success here depends on balancing strict discipline with real-time adaptability, staying sharp, and reacting in the moment. Stevenson must respect Lopez's pace while executing his own game plan. His accountability must translate into measured, effective action, not overconfidence. One miscalculation could change everything.
Lopez will rise to the occasion and be prepared for that fight. So I feel like Shakur has to keep that fight in the middle of the ring, use his counter ability. But if Teo's speed is a problem, I think Shakur is going to run into a lot of problems. But if Shakur is the faster fighter with the good reflexes to counter, he'll be fine, I think. But, Teo says a lot of crazy things that, a lot of us don't agree with. But at the end of the day, the dude can fight. His last performance, he showed him that his levels to this, right? Lopez is on a whole different, I'll say, category when it comes to boxing that Shakur's at. I think this is a great fight. I'm going to go ahead and give my prediction. If these two fight, it's going to be kind of like a Floyd versus Zab Judah-ish, or I'm going to say Zab Judah. I know Zab Judah is a different fighter than Lopez, but I think what's going to happen is going to become a chess match. Who can counter who? Lopez, I think, will get hit early and start respecting Shakur's power. I think Shakur will keep everything to the middle of the ring and be able to adjust with his movements, his counter ability, and his defense. Like, he's able to make those adjustments that are very similar to Floyd. So I'm going to go with Shakur on this one. But you cannot sleep on Lopez because he comes to fight. The fight that he shocked me was against Lomachenko. He came ready for war. And I think Shakur, he's starting to, get fights that are kind of setting him up for these mega fights, and he'll be prepared for that. I don't see Shakur beating Tank. I'm going to tell y'all why. Tank, speed, and ability to get inside, I think, is going to give Shakur a lot of problems. But if Shakur could keep things in the middle of the ring, he should be fine. It's all going to be up to what Shakur, how he wants to fight it. I wouldn't have him going on ropes again, and I don't blame him for moving more in his next few fights, because that last fight, he didn't move too much and gave us. We just wanted to see him fight, right? And we know he could fight, but you can't.
This
do that.
clash between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson will push Lopez to his absolute ceiling. Analyst Henry makes a crucial point. Lopez reaches his peak only when facing elite opposition. True pressure brings out his best. Against a fighter like Stevenson, who combines agility, precision, and exceptional ring awareness, Lopez must adapt quickly and refine every aspect of his game. Henry explains that a fighter's ceiling isn't fixed. It shifts based on the challenge standing across the ring. This matchup forces Lopez to confront his strengths while exposing any weaknesses. It tests his ability to strategize and think on his feet. Beyond physical talent, mental toughness, and decision-making under pressure will determine who wins this fight. It's a crucial test of Lopez's evolution as a boxer, one that will demand he rise to a level only elite competition can bring out. Now, let's talk about Shakur Stevenson before diving into the specifics of this fight and why it's so risky for both men. Stevenson is undefeated.
Lopez needs opponents like Shakur Stevenson because they are elite fighters. He needs that to bring out the very best in him. I just can't see how it's possible that whilst Teofimo, we've seen a ceiling with him in terms of he's been beaten by certain opponents, we know that he can lose in the ring. But I don't know if that's a genuine ceiling, because I think that his ceiling is actually one of the most changeable in boxing based on who's in front of him. And so actually, I think there's a very, very good chance we're going to see the best possible version of Teofimo Lopez in the ring against Shakur Stevenson. But we should talk about Shakur Stevenson before we get into the nuts and bolts of the fight, what it might look like, and why it is so risky for both men. Now, Shakur Stevenson is currently undefeated. He's 24-0 with 11 KOs. He turned pro back in 2017. He's the same age as Teofimo Lopez at 28 years old, both men in their athletic primes. He's 5'8". These are on paper heights, so potentially a little bit shorter. He could even be a bit taller than Teofimo Lopez. I really need to see them next to each other to make that assessment. No lifts in the shoes, all that stuff. But around the same size is the most important thing. The difference, though, with Shakur Stevenson is he's actually a 3-weight division world champion, and he started a division lower than Teofimo Lopez, meaning naturally it would appear that he's slightly the smaller man. Although that doesn't necessarily mean they're now not the same size. He could easily have filled out to be roughly the same size as Teofimo Lopez is on the night in the ring. Now, for me, I'm going to jump back to 2021 to first start talking about Shakur Stevenson, when he managed to get a win over Jamel Herring. Again, he'd had significant wins before this fight, but it was the first one where I really tuned into his career. Notable wins had already come against Joet Gonzalez, Jeremiah Nakathila, but no one that was really a household name. Maybe Joet Gonzalez. No giant names. Jamel Herring was the first one where I was like, I know who Jamel Herring is. He beat Carl Frampton. He beat Lamont Roach. This is a very, very decent operator. And what can I say? I mean, Shakur Stevenson just absolutely dominated him and TKO'd him in the 10th round of their fight. But this was a really, really landmark, standout performance from Shakur Stevenson. The talent was there for all to see. Everybody could tell this was a serious...
Bruce Carrington offers sharp insight into Lopez's vulnerability. He struggles against opponents who move fluidly and constantly change angles. Stevenson's agility and ability to shift positions in the ring could exploit that weakness, forcing Lopez to adjust on the fly throughout the fight. Carrington emphasizes that success won't come from power or aggression alone. It will depend on Lopez's ability to anticipate and respond to rapid, unpredictable movement. If he fails to adapt, he'll be vulnerable to counters and strategic setups that could swing the fight decisively in Stevenson's favor.
I feel like Teo is going to bring the fight. He's very athletic. He has a lot of explosiveness, and but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? We've seen, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so I don't know. We've seen Teo get frustrated to the point where he's asking himself, do I still got it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, his two biggest wins, he was an underdog. And both guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. Like I don't see just because southpaw that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of like that approach of the fight, nah. Like Shakur fights totally different. You gotta be able to do some out of pocket stuff with Shakur. You gotta throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only